Welcome everybody. Welcome to the first Windows Champ live stream. Appreciate you guys joining. And yes, it's the first live stream for my YouTube channel. I've had this YouTube channel going on 11 years now. Never did a live stream before. So this is the first time I'm live, and definitely going to be some interaction with me trying to figure out what buttons to push, what things to do. I'm learning this software. This is the first time, but I appreciate you guys joining. The video will end up live on the YouTube channel, or you can watch it later on the YouTube channel as well. But we wanted to try a live stream and see how it goes. So first of all, let me introduce myself, and again, welcome to the stream. My name is Ken Marlin. I'm the Windows Champ, and I'm also a supplier manager here at Arrow Electronics, where I manage the Microsoft Windows IoT business. Arrow Electronics is a global distributor that distributes many different products, everything from chips, components, semiconductors, to full-blown computers, servers, storage, networking, as well as software, including Microsoft. We're an authorized distributor for Windows IoT, Windows embedded products, and that's what the channel is based on. What we found, and as we go through the live stream, I want to give you, behind the scenes. So we'll start with welcome to my home office. I'm actually located in Chandler, Arizona. I work out of the home office, which is a suburb of Phoenix, Arizona. It is a wonderful 70-degree day here in Arizona, and you can see the sunshine coming through the window there. And Arrow Electronics is headquartered in Denver, Colorado. That's where a lot of my coworkers are based and located. And I am down here in Phoenix. So Arrow also has a very large integration center located on the west side of the Sky Harbor Airport in Phoenix. Occasionally I'll get over there and visit that location, but for the most part, I am based here in Chandler, Arizona. I also need to get used to looking that direction at the camera. So this will be interactive. If you want, you can start commenting. There's a comment thing in YouTube, so you can ask questions there. Ask questions about me, about Arrow, about Windows IoT products. But in the meantime, I'm going to take you through my top 5 videos of my channel, all time, my top 5 videos. And we'll dig into some of those, give you some of the backstories on those videos, and that should trigger some additional questions that you might have about Windows IoT. So let's do that. Let's talk about the chat real quick too. So we do have the ability for you to ask questions in there, and I will see them and I will be able to highlight them and respond to that. And let's start with video number 5 of all time on my channel. So this video number 5 is why use Windows 10 IoT Enterprise, LTSB, LTSC edition. And if you look closely at the video, I'm a lot younger in that video because that video has been around since 2017. We shot that in 2017. That was around the time that Windows 10 IoT Enterprise LTSB 2015 launched. And back then it was called Long-Term Service Branch. They later changed the name to Long-Term Service Channel. The interesting facts about this video is I had only worked at Arrow Electronics for 2 months. They flew me and a coworker of mine up to Denver, and we met up there, and it had just been hit with a blizzard, just a huge snow thing. I barely knew anybody at Arrow, but we wanted to do some YouTube videos. I said I could do it. Let's crank them out. They threw me in a conference room with a green screen and a film crew. They actually had a video crew. And the plan was I was just going to wing it. I had topics. The plan was we were going to shoot 22 videos in one day. And it was just going to be based on topics, and I was just going to stand in front of the video camera and speak to these topics. And this was one of the big topics, was why I use Windows 10 IoT Enterprise. And I was going to cover obviously all the reasons why you would use it. And the problem with that is we learned very quickly is if I had to cut and had to redo or do a retake, I didn't have a script, so I would say something completely different, or if I had to start back over from the last sentence, I couldn't remember what I just said. So we were going completely with no script, and that really was going to make it a nightmare for the video editor person. So we ended up, after probably shooting 2 or 3 videos, stopping for lunch, and me and my coworker, we had to write scripts for the rest of like 18 or 19 more videos. And then from there, I had to use a teleprompter. So if you look at the video too, there's a lot of teleprompter action going on there, where I'm reading the teleprompter. The other thing too is I needed glasses to see a certain distance, and the teleprompter is too far, but the glasses had a reflection. Anyway, pretty funny. But one of the things to note is if we look at the slides, I was talking about the difference between LTSB and CBB, and I wanted to talk about this because if we look back at the CBB, which is Current Branch for Business, in today's world it's called SAC, or AC, annual channel. It was a semi-annual channel. Now it's the GAC, General Availability Channel. Now they continue to change those acronyms almost every other year, right? But back then it was called Current Branch for Business, which made no sense, right? And look how complicated this chart is. I mean, the chart is so complicated. Back then, Microsoft was releasing a build version every 8 to 12 months, and it was a nightmare trying to figure out which branch or which build was still supported, because there was going to be 2 builds that were supported at all times, and it was very difficult. Things are a lot easier now, by the way, so Microsoft has really straightened that out. And in comparison, if we looked at the LTSB slide, it was the gray bars there, 2015, 2016, and then in the future, obviously we had 2019 and 2021 that got the 10 years of support. But you could see even the slides for the service and the builds was very complicated back then. It's fun to look back at that, though. I think now the point is we definitely want to do an updated video. I've done a number of videos similar to this one, but I think it's time, obviously, once Windows 11 LTSC is launched, I need to update this video, give a new version of it. But it's fun to look back and to think that we shot 22 videos in one day. It obviously took about 6 months to edit them all. And get them on the channel, but it was a fun day to be thrown in there, not knowing anybody at Arrow very well, and then just cranking out 22 videos. A lot of fun. Any questions on the LTSB? I do see one. Let's highlight the question so far. Thank you for asking the question. Do you happen to know which build number Windows 11 Enterprise LTSC will have? I don't officially know, but I can look at the roadmap and I can tell that it should be build 24H2. It should be based on build 24H2, which would be the second half of 2024. So that should be the next build. The current build of Windows 11 Enterprise is build 23H2. So obviously we're looking for 24H2. And that should be the Windows 11 one. And I'll touch base on a little more Windows 11 questions, because that's going to be one of my topics that I touch on in the video here. So we'll get to that here in a minute. But certainly, any more questions, fire them away. Thank you for asking that one. Let's move on and go to number 4 video of all time on my channel. So 24,000 views. How many times has your Microsoft product key been used? Anytime I do a video around product keys or activation, it's going to get a lot of views. Not necessarily from the IoT folks or IoT people, but just people in general. They're just curious about Microsoft product keys and product activation. And I do have a video on the channel that's called, the product key is not the license. And it's a big one because there's so much piracy out there around product keys. it's pretty comical. I mean, if you do a search on, I want to buy Windows 11 Pro right now, you will find it for $5. Somebody will sell you a key for $5. Problem is, you're not buying a license, you're buying a key. Key just unlocks the product, allows you to use it. And for a lot of end users, a lot of people out there, they don't really care if it's legal. They just want to activate the product and use it without the watermark. So they'll continue to buy those and support those piracy channels. But if you're a company and you don't want to get audited or deal with any legal action, you want to make sure you have a legal license, well, then you're going to want to buy a Microsoft product from a legitimate source, a truly legal place like Arrow Electronics. So let's talk more about this video. So this is another one that I think I actually redid this one recently, even though I think from the video, I think I'm still pretty young in that one. So this might have been one of those that we shot also back then in 2017. But I focus on the tool, which is called the VAMT, the Volume Activation Management Tool. And I show you how to install that tool and use that tool. And one of the things I don't really say in the video is that you should really install this in a virtual machine. It seems to always work great in a virtual machine, but if you just install it in your physical OS, it'll struggle with losing connection to the SQL database. It just happens all the time. I'm surprised people don't ask or come to us and ask, help for more help in getting the tool to work. But I will say, if you load it in a virtual machine, it works every time, and it works great. And this is just a screenshot of mine where I again check some keys and see how many activations are left. For the IoT channel, you get a single key good for 50,000 activations, and you want to keep track of that. You want to make sure that it didn't get out in the wild, and all of a sudden there's a lot of activations on it. Or if you're a huge customer, you want to make sure you don't run out of activations, and so you'll use this tool to track those keys and that activation. So. And again, I probably will do an updated version of this one here soon. And this doesn't work with all Microsoft keys, but it does work with the OEM keys and some volume keys. But obviously, it's intended for the volume channel. It's a volume activation management tool, but it does work with many OEM keys. Not all OEM keys, but a lot of them. So any questions on that, just throw them in the chat. And next up, we will move on to number 3. So number 3 is Windows 10 Enterprise LTSC versus Windows 10 IoT Enterprise, and it's the reason this one got so many views is, again, it's Microsoft's naming convention, right? It's two products that are they're named identical except for one word, IoT, which is Internet of Things, which is the new name for embedded. So normally it would say Windows 10 Embedded Enterprise LTSC, but they changed the naming from embedded to IoT. And right there in the chart, you can see that I do a great comparison in the video of the two products side by side. But we get a lot of customers who come from the volume channel. And they're looking for LTSC. And Microsoft does have the long-term service channel option in the volume channel, which is intended for corporate America. It's intended for general purpose use. It's intended for, companies that have just regular computers, but they want the long-term service, lock it into that build, get a little bit longer support. But just know, very different channels. The IoT is embedded IoT. It's strictly for appliances. It's strictly for fixed purpose appliances, medical, gaming, digital signage, kiosks, on and on. Many different industry verticals where you power on the system, and it just does that one or two or three different special purposes about the appliance. The other one is, again, corporate America. A lot more expensive. It's an upgrade only. You have to buy it in the name of the company that's going to own it. So it's very simple though. General purpose, dedicated appliance. Dedicated appliance, you're going to use the IoT, you're going to come to Arrow, we'll help you through the process. You build your appliances with IoT and off you go. We will keep it moving here. Down to number 2. The number 2 all time with 35,000 views is the Windows IoT Enterprise LTSC versus Windows 10 Pro. And it's probably a number 1 question we get, actually, is customers who, what's the difference between Pro and IoT LTSC, right? And again, it's very simple. It's like I just said, it's really Pro is for general purpose use. IoT is for fixed purpose appliances. Now, the issue we run into all the time is customers just, if they buy a piece of hardware, in many cases, it's going to come with Pro on it. In this case, it's going to come with Windows 11 Pro. So let's start off real quick with Windows 10 Pro. It's gone. It went end of life back in 2020, October of 2022. It's gone. It's been we're going on a year and a half now that Windows 10 Pro has been end of life. And end of life means that it's not manufactured anymore. Now, a lot of distributors did a last time buy and they stocked up on it. And so that allowed inventory to continue for another year. But I can tell you at this stage, the Windows 10 Pro inventory is depleted. It is gone. So, but you would say, well, Ken, I can search on the internet and I can find Windows 10 Pro all over the place. I can guarantee you 90% of the time that product is pirated or counterfeit. It's not the real Windows 10 Pro. So again, you want to buy from a legitimate source. And today, Windows 11 is your only choice. So you're going to buy Windows 11 Pro and downgrade. And downgrade is a whole other mess. I hope to do some more videos on downgrade rights here soon, because that's another common question we get, especially now that folks are downgrading from 11 to 10. But Windows 10 Pro, long gone. It still has support until October 2025 if you're on the latest build. So if you're on build 22H2 of Windows 10 Pro, you'll get support till October 2025. But after that, no more security patches. So you really should be moving to Windows 11. But in this case, if you're building an appliance, you should be on the IoT product. And the Windows 10 IoT LTSC product has lots of years left. The LTSC 2021 is good until 2032. It's going to be available till 2032 and get support till the end of 2031. So you've got lots of time left on that product if you want to stick with Windows 10. Now, what happens in the real world is some of the OEMs, they get the hardware and it already comes with Pro. So they think, I don't want the additional expense of IoT, so I'm just going to stick with Pro. And I'll give you a real world experience that happened while I throw up the chart. So I showed a customer this chart, and I was on the phone with him for like 45 minutes and explaining the difference between the IoT Enterprise, LTSC, and Pro. And I tell them, the Pro is going to force you into new build versions. It's going to force the upgrade. It's going to give you a lot less control over locking it down. You barely get any support. Back then it was 18 months. Now it's 36 months. For Windows 11, you get 36 months of support per build, and then it's going to force you to the next one. So 3 years of support, very short life cycle. And so as Windows 12 comes out, Windows 11 will soon be retired, and on and on. So if you're building an appliance, you don't want any of that. You want IoT because you want the long life cycle. You want the long 10 years of support. You want the full control, being able to lock it down. And it's licensed based on the processor, so you can get it relatively inexpensive. In this case, they were doing Core i5s, so it was like the value license option. And they were doing 200 digital signage in a sports arena. And so, he finally, he said he would think about it, let me know. And a day later, he let me know that they were going to stick with Pro. So a month goes by, and he calls back, and he wants to place an order for 200 of the IoT LTSC licenses. And I was like, well, what's up? I thought you were sticking with Pro. What happened? And so he said that during a sporting event, all the displays ended up with a pop-up of back then, Microsoft, when they would come out with a new build version, they would actually make a pop-up come up on your screen. And this was for the fall update or something. It was around a big update with Microsoft Paint, and it had a picture of a girl and a fish and painting or something like that. I kind of remember it. And that would pop up it popped up on 200 screens in the sports arena. And so again, I explained to him, yeah, with IoT, there would have never been any kind of promoting of the new build, because there wouldn't have been a new build. And you have full control over not allowing anything to pop up on the screen. And so he placed the order for the 200 IoT, and off he went, and everything's great now. They re-imaged all the systems with the IoT Enterprise LTSC, and it's good to go. But I still run into customers who will see all of these benefits, and they'll stick with Pro when they should not. They should definitely go back to IoT and use IoT for appliances. So before we get to number one, I do want to just say, because I forgot to say earlier, that the Windows channel reached 1 million views recently. So I want to thank you guys for that. It was awesome. It's awesome to see a channel. I know it's taken 11 years to get to 1 million views, but it's still fantastic. And we're almost getting up to 8,000 subscribers now, which is another thing that's unbelievable. Because again, we're kind of I'm a niche YouTube channel that's focused strictly on Windows IoT products. I'm not out there doing videos on all the regular versions of Windows. And we do get a lot of requests. I have people requesting, like, Ken, why can't you do a video on Windows 11 Pro? And maybe I will branch out, but ultimately the goal is just to keep you guys updated on Windows IoT products. So thank you for that. I'm going to hide that banner. I'm going to throw also a little ticker here to make sure you guys know where you can find all the Windows IoT resources. So we have a really good website. A lot of companies might not spend a lot of time on their websites. We do. And so, and in particular, under the resources tab on that website that's going across the ticker, under the resources tab is some blogs I've written with lots, the way I write blogs are based around real world and real life stories of supporting our customer bases and things that happen all the time. So I try to make them a little bit interesting, not just the dry, tech info. Here's your FAQ and your info, and but I try to make them a little bit interesting. So check out those blogs and the other info out there. I've created, part sheets and end of life sheets and end of support sheets and roadmaps and all fantastic stuff that you can find out there. So go check those out. And let's jump into topic number one, the video number one, which is the first look at Windows 11 IoT Enterprise. So 15,000 views, obviously that's not higher than the other guys on the list, but these 15,000 views came in just the last few months. And we typically receive 3 to 5 requests a day of people saying, I saw your video where you showed Windows 11 IoT LTSC and I want to try it out. Because in the video, I make a message, or I state that if you want to try it out, reach out to us. Now what I'll say about that is, and let me turn this banner off right there. What I want to say about that is that not everybody can download the Windows 11 LTSC, right? It's specifically to the IoT channel. So ultimately, if you're not an OEM that is building appliances, well, if you're just a college kid, or if you're just like, some home user and you're just really interested in Windows 11 LTSC, that's not available for you. It's strictly available to OEMs that build appliances, and you do have to sign a legal agreement with Microsoft, basically indicating that you are an OEM and that you agree to all the license terms. And from there, you do get internal test and development rights, which would allow you to download and test the new, Windows 11 LTSC Preview Edition. So there's other ways. There's Collaborate, and we can get you your own invitation to the Microsoft Collaborate website, which will allow you to download it straight from Microsoft and start your testing and provide Microsoft your feedback on the product. So, but that has been a fantastic video, primarily, I guess, because I was one of the few people to share show what Windows 11 LTSC looks like, and it continues to do really well. And the big question is still, when will that product be available? And Microsoft's official answer is still second half of 2024. And that product is, again, coming soon. If you look back at the roadmap, we may have a repeat of what happened with Windows 10 IoT Enterprise LTSC 2021, because Microsoft releases an LTSC version every 3 years. So you had the 2019 LTSC, you had 2016 LTSB, you had 2019 LTSC, you have 2021 LTSC. So clearly it's going to be 2024 LTSC, in this case Windows 11. But if you look back when Windows 10 LTSC 2021 was launched back in 2021, it launched at the same time that Windows 11 launched. So Windows 11 actually stole all the thunder from the Windows 10 LTSC product. And this is my own personal feelings here. We're going to have a repeat of that because it's very likely that Microsoft is going to launch Windows 12. There is zero information from Microsoft on Windows 12 out there. Absolutely tons of websites and news stories about Windows 12, but none of them have anything official from Microsoft on Windows 12. So at this stage, there's still nothing official about Windows 12, but it could come out, and then again it would kind of steal the thunder from the Windows 11 LTSC, just like it did 3 years ago. And again, you can see that because you look at the roadmaps, and the roadmaps is leading us to that, right? But we're super excited about Windows 11 LTSC, and it's going to be a big launch, and I probably will do a live stream when that product goes live on the day that it's general available and launched. I'll probably just do a live stream dedicated to that product and hopefully talk about the requirements and the features and the part numbers and all that good stuff, the life cycle, the roadmap, all the good stuff. We'll update you on all of that. And let's see if we got some more. We got another question in here. Okay. Yep. Maria, I think we answered that one. When will it be available? Second half 2024. And then we got another one here. Yeah, Windows on ARM. Let's see. NXP is keeping a secret even. But early preview. Do you think XP will expand support for this in this year? So that's a good question too, because will the Windows 11 LTSC require UEFI? It may not even be a requirement, right? We have to wait and see. But secure boot, TPM, some of that stuff might be optional. But we're definitely looking forward to the 95 and the 95 from chipset from NXP, and hopefully, the Windows on ARM. I think as the chips and the support from the chip manufacturers can get better on that, it's just going to take off. I think it's going to do really well once we get some good support from those chips and some new chips like the 95 that'll drive up a lot of interest. We'll see. I can't speak for anything on NXP, so I don't know if I can truly answer that question. But maybe UEFI may not even be a requirement. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Any other questions? In fact, I want to test this here to see if those were popping up in there. That one is. I wonder. I'm going to play around here for just a minute. Let me hide that one. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so they were starting to fill in there. Very good. There's another question here. All right. Yeah, will it have the TPM 2.0 requirement? We have to wait for the official answer from Microsoft, but the LTSC version, the OEM, in the OEM space, our OEMs sometimes like to use older hardware, and because they like to use older hardware, the older hardware may not have a 2.0 TPM threat protect, and that stands for threat protection module. So it's like a security chip on the board that helps make your device more secure. So it's obviously a good thing to make your devices more secure. But in many cases, the OEMs might not have hardware that has a 2.0 TPM module. And in that case, a lot of them are saying, hey, they're asking Microsoft, can you make the TPM module, can you make that module optional? It's a good thing if we want it, but in some cases, we might not be able to support it. And so we'll see what Microsoft says about that. I think for the Windows 11 LTSC, the TPM may be an optional requirement. So we'll see how that goes. All right. Any other questions? We're at the 30-minute mark. I think we'll call it. We'll call it quits on this live stream. Thank you guys for joining the live stream. Downgrade rights, yeah. Let's answer that one real quick. Downgrade rights. I hope to do some video again. I mentioned it earlier. I want to do a downgrade video on downgrade rights, because that's a big confusion. But now with Windows 10 being gone, and we also recently had WES 2009, which is an XP product. It went end of life. And so we've got a lot of customers starting to ask the downgrade questions again. They're becoming popular. So thank you. Thank you for the comment, because I definitely want to do that. It's a confusing topic for sure. But downgrade rights from LTSC. Well, obviously that product's not out yet, so I don't know if you can answer it, but the standard answer is in the embedded IoT space for the client world, you can't downgrade to a product that's still available. So you can only downgrade to a product that went end of life. So, but in many cases, you would have to buy the most high-end and most current products, which will be Windows 11 IoT LTSC. And so you would buy that product, and then you could downgrade to an LTSC product that is gone end of life. And in this case, that would be downgrading to 2015 LTSB, which doesn't go end of life until 2025. So another year away from that. But as an example, you could buy the Windows 11 IoT Enterprise non-LTSC, and you could downgrade all the way to XP Pro. XP Pro's gone. I think FAS 7 is still available, pretty sure. So in the next few years, it would go end of life. But in the client world, because these products have such long life cycle, if you're going to use one of the older products, well, you need to buy that product and use it. Let's see. We got another question from Dan. Do you still have a lot of customers using? Yeah. Strangely enough, I pulled all the reports for the 2023, and in 2023, right now, almost 50% of our OEMs are using LTSC 2019. Now, a lot of those customers will be jumping over 2021 and jumping to Windows 11 LTSC. It's really common for these guys to jump over because it's a 3-year life cycle. But I think it was only around 10 or 15% were using, maybe it was like 10% were using 2016. Like 48% was using 2019. And 2021 was around 25%, I want to say. So it was catching up, which is normal too. But I think we'll see a lot of those 2019 guys. They've been waiting for Windows 11 LTSC, and they'll jump over. So appreciate the question, Dan. And with that, I'm gonna go ahead and end it and jump to the thank you, and our email. So if you need to contact us, WindowsIoT@arrow.com. If you have additional questions, shoot us an email, windowsiot.com. We'll get you answers. And appreciate the comment, Dan. I do make all these videos to make your lives easier and to help ease some of the confusion and a lot of the common questions we get, because we get asked a lot of questions on a daily basis, and pointing to videos is easy. So again, thank you guys for joining the live stream. Hit the Arrow website that's there on the ticker, email. And with that, I will end the live stream. Thank you guys.